So for those of you that are not familiar with the Greener Cal initiative, it is an initiative that was put together. Now it's been a few years, primarily between the Foundation for Food and Agricultural Research and DMI. We put together a framework for collaboration. And then we went out with a call to encourage individual organizations to join in that collaboration. You all can read, because that's sufficiently large. You can see that it's about options. It's about new mitigation options. It's about also validating options. And then on this left side, for you it's on the right side, you can see that we have a number of particular areas up on top that relate to the type of research that needs to be conducted to mitigate enteric methane and come up with mitigation options to have the impacts that are listed at the bottom. This is basically the strategic framework that we use for the first request for proposals or request for applications. 3 awards were awarded in that first round. 2 of them are here in the room. Only one is not here today. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I do want to mention that, that was our first round. The awards were made in 2023. Now we're on our second round. But in order to get to all of this, I want to mention a few things first. What's required is collaboration, right? And in order to have collaboration, you have to build relationships. And those relationships, like Joe alluded to, they take effort, they take focus, they take time. Even for those that are working on identifying areas of research that are required and then trying to find ways to get funding be put into those types of areas, it takes time to go through the process. And for those that apply to those calls, it takes time for that process to go through. But that's not the only thing that's required, because transparency is required as well. Transparency is required because at the end of the day, the reality of the matter is that even though we're working on a pre-competitive level, because the different organizations that collaborate decided to do so in areas that they have in common, at the end of the day, applicants in most cases are working through competitive calls, okay? That is something that is built into the way in which science works. Scientists are used to develop their ideas, to formulate hypotheses, and then put them out there. With every single one of these requests for applications, no matter if it comes from us or from any other funding organization, the applicants are improving their pitches. The applicants are improving their hypotheses. And so it's important to understand that that's also a benefit that occurs that it's not talked about. So I want to call out the folks that that participate in the Greener Cal initiative. Next. Thank you. I'm just not going to use this clicker anymore. Thank you. So I know that there are people here that are members of the steering committee, and I would like to please for you to stand up for a second, just so that they see you, and we're not inventing you guys, okay? It's not an invention. So thank you so much, for Greener Cal initiative and for actually participating and doing what's required to collaborate. And it's hard because you have to reach that commonality, okay? So I have one particular element that I want to highlight, and it's the one thing that I would like everybody to take from this presentation today. I'm going to say it now. So a lot of presentations, a lot of talks, I hear the term alignment. I've used the term alignment a lot in the past. I challenge all of you to not use the term alignment anymore. Forget alignment. Because that's not really what we're after. What we're after is common understanding. That's what we're after. We're after common understanding, not alignment. If we want to truly collaborate, if we want to truly share data, if we want to truly understand research agendas, we need to try to get to common understanding. There are going to be elements that we're not going to agree, but those can be talked out. And so that's my challenge for everybody today. Let's go to the next slide, please. So in this next slide, I'm recognizing the awardees for 2023. So Alex has already spoken. He put together a proposal with his team to look at feed additives. You can see that over there on your left. The only person that's not here today that also received an award is the award listed in the middle. The PI is Professor Mackey at the University of Illinois, but he's working with 5 other hubs around the world to evaluate the fate of hydrogen. You know, this is one of the elements that is very important to understand that hasn't really been talked that much. It's been alluded to today in a lot of the microbial discussions, but hasn't been talked about that much directly. I'm not going to talk about any specifics, though. You can go to the website where all of this information is located and look it up for yourself. And then finally, I do want to recognize, oh, they were in the opposite order. I apologize for that. So Alex is on this side. I want to recognize Francisco as well, who spoke earlier. I mean, we are convinced that these are great projects. And in order to make this award, we had to have other projects that were also great not make it, okay? But it's all right, because like I said, they improve their hypothesis, they go some other places, and they get funding. What's important is, let's reach some common understanding, let's give the good ideas an opportunity, and then, you know, the science, the findings speak for themselves. Let's go to the next one, please. So at this stage, we are in the second round of the Greener Cal Initiative request for applications. We have an open application right now. We received applications, many of them, and we had a much narrower call. You can see the specifics over here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so I'm going to move out here. So you can see the specifics of the areas of research. So you're going to notice that some of the elements that came out, everybody can hear me in the back, yes? Good. You're going to see that some of the elements that came out in previous discussions are listed over here, okay? So there's been a lot of progress in these last few years. The amount of publications on enteric methane mitigation, they are just like speeding up, you know? We're in that space of the curve where you know, it's increasing exponentially. But we still have a lot of challenges, like delivery mechanisms. We have interesting concepts, like interventions early in life. We have the need to understand what are the combinations going to deliver. And finally, we need to understand what these types of options will do in the long term. So I wish I could tell you more today. If we can go to the next and final slide, please. But unfortunately, I can't. Because pre-applications are under review. So I cannot give you any more information at the moment. But to say that we are excited because we think we're going to be in a good place, we're going to have good research funded, and it's just going to be our contribution, the Greener Cal Initiative contribution to a much greater ecosystem of funds and effort that is trying to address this, this type of issue and all of the different elements that are needed to understand not only the scientific basis, but then eventually feed that information into what's required for adoption to occur, which is a completely different ball of wax and that I'm not going to talk about.